Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss business cycle. And in business cycle, we'll discuss, definition or meaning of business cycle. Then we'll discuss phases of business cycle. Now there are two questions we'll address. What do you understand by business cycle? Then what are the different phases of business cycle? Now to start with this is basically the today's session content. Meaning of business cycle, meaning, definition or concept of business cycle. These are same. So here one question we will address. What do you understand by business cycle? Then second is phases of business cycle. In the phases of business cycle, one question will address what are the different phases of business cycle. Phases means like stage. What are the different stages of business cycle? These are the two areas we'll discuss today. Now next, meaning of business cycle. Now in the meaning of business cycle, basically business or trade cycle is the economic fluctuation of different quantities such as price, wages, income, profit, employment, etc. Business or trade cycle is a concept consists of boom and prosperity. What I said, I repeat again. Business or trade cycle is the fluctuation, or business or trade cycle means the fluctuation of economic quantities such as price, output, income, wages, employment, etc. Or it is a concept consists of boom and or prosperity, or depression. Now we'll go through the details of this. Now see, here we'll go through some theoretical definition given by renowned economists. We'll go through as it is, but whatever I have said, that also you can write in simple language. Like here, business or trade cycle means alternate period of prosperity and depression. So, what I said that business or trade cycle means alternate period of prosperity and depression. Okay, these are alternate, means like if now prosperity is there, after some time, depression may be there. So after depression, again prosperity and recovery comes. Okay. Now we'll go through different definitions. See, the concept of business cycle has been explained by different economics and in different way in different times. And among them, two definitions today we'll go through. Like first definition is given by.
Sir, your voice is not clear.
Haberler defines business cycle as the business cycle in general sense may be defined as an alternate of periods of prosperity and depression of good and bad trade. Okay. Now Haberler defines business cycle as an alternate of periods of prosperity and depression of good and bad trade. Okay. Like if we say prosperity, good trade. If we say depression, bad trade. So how these happen when we go through the phases of the business cycle, you will understand what is depression, what is prosperity, okay, and how this works. Then another definition given by Gordon definition of a business cycle. Now, Gordon said that a business cycle consists of recurring alternation of expansion and contraction. Expansion means trade expansion. Trade is spreading, and contraction means lower down or reducing in the business volume. Okay, that is similar to the depression of aggregate economic activity. Aggregate economic activity. Aggregate economic activity means economic activity in general as a whole. Okay, then the alternating movement in each direction being self-reinforcing and pervading virtually all parts of economy. Means these phases of the business cycle, these are self-reinforcing. Means these one after another automatically comes. Then government and policymakers, they also try to revitalize when economy are in the bad phase or bad shape. Then this pervading virtually means it is present every time in all parts of economy. So in general, what you can say business cycle or trade cycle refers to the alternate period of prosperity and depression of good and bad trade. This is basically the core concept of the business cycle. Then next we move to the phases of business cycle. In the phases of business cycle, we will go through the four phases. These phases are like, first we'll go through this part, then we'll go through the fourth phase. See, fourth phase, simply you can keep in mind that recovery, then prosperity, then recession and depression. Okay, along with this, we'll go through in an in-depth way, so that will come to later on. Like trade cycle is characterized by different phases. Trade cycle is characterized by different phases, the upward phase and downward phase. Broadly, upward phase, downward phase of the trade cycle. A typical cycle is generally divided into four phases. Okay, what already I have been mentioned as a business cycle generally categorized into four types. Now, or phases of business cycle can be defined in four ways. The first phase is the revival or recovery. See, simply you can keep in mind that recovery phase. Okay, or along with this, you can also keep in mind that revival or recovery or lower turning point. Lower turning point, when we go to the business cycle graph, that time you will understand. I'll show you what is the lower turning point and how recovery or revival takes place. Revival means revitalizing the switch economy or alien economy activity. Then second is expansion or prosperity. Here you can remember prosperity. Or upswing. Upswing means upward movement. Upward movement. Expansion or prosperity or upswing or upward movement. Now here here recovery and here prosperity. These two you can remember. Then recession or upper turning point. Okay, so recession here you can remember. Then last phase is contraction or depression or downswing. Okay, now contraction is basically reducing or synchronizing, getting the bad phase. depression is also same. That trouncing means downward movement. And the different phases of business cycle will go through this, graph. Now, see this, cursor here you can see recovery. Recovery is the phase when economy from the bad phase starts recovering, revitalizing. Okay. Now see, along with the recovery, what we have seen, that revival, recovery or lower turning point. Now, this is basically the lower turning point and revival phase. Okay. Now, in this case, due to the increase in the aggregate demand of the semi-durable goods, or government have adopted a policy like during COVID-19, government have given a huge economic package. So due to that, the economy which was fluctuating or which was facing problems, starting revitalizing again or starting recovery. Then after recovery, prosperity. In the prosperity, basically this is basically flourishing stage of the economic activity in an economy. Here, new employment takes place, production increases, consumption increases, then output increases, income also increases, and due to the increase in the income, the spending power of the consumer increases, and that also accelerates the GDP. This is basically the prosperity stage. Then it is peak. This is upward movement. And this is basically the peak. Okay, so after this peak point, here economy may face saturation. Okay, like a country is based on the population size, market size. Okay, and saturation may come, or in any other region, economy may reach to the economic activity may reach to the at prosperity level in the peak stage. Then it will show the a lower turning point. Okay, like see in the earlier slide, what we have seen, like expansion or prosperity or upswing. Upswing means upward movement. Okay, then recession, upper turning point. Upper turning point. Now, prosperity, expansion or upswing or upward movement. Okay, then peak. This is a recession or recession and upper turning point. Recession or upper turning point. Like from the peak, it is having a downward movement. Slowly, economy face a downward movement. Okay, upper turning point. From the peak, it is turning, downward. So why it happens? Because in this period, economy starts facing a bad scenario, like new employment does not take place, production also gets stable because companies are not able to sell their product, and due to that, economy start facing bad phases. Then depression. Depression is the extreme level of the bad trade. Okay, see, here you can define the business cycle, like what is being said in the definition, that business or trade cycle is the alternate period of good or bad trade. Okay, good trade means prosperity, then bad trade, recession and depression. See, good, like recovery. In the recovery stage, good, trade starts. So it's alternate a period of prosperity and depression. This also we can see. Now in the depression phase, what I was mentioning, that economy extremely faces a very bad phase, where employees face job termination. Okay, companies lay off as they are not able to generate business volumes, and profit also reduces. New establishment do not take place. As a result of that, new employment may not take place. So this is basically the depression phase. We'll go through more detail also. Now again, when economy will be through, and again recovery will start. Now here I will give you one example. Like say when COVID-19 started in March from March 22, 2020, we have faced a complete lockdown. Okay, so due to the complete lockdown, all economic activities were almost shut down. It was closed absolutely. So that time economy faced very bad condition, because in a particular day in thousands crores of loss, Indian industries, Indian economy in general have incurred, and due to that, government have given huge financial package. Now in that scenario, what happened? Some industries started booming, and which was those industries? Like hand sanitizer industry, then PPT kit industry. Okay, then like this industry start flourishing, and demand have increased, and due to that, revitalization of the economy started, because that has generated employment, income. Okay, so like this, under any circumstances, economy may start recovering. Then prosperity will come. Then again recession, depression. This is a continuous process. Now next we will go through one by one from the theoretical perspective, that how this phases of business cycle basically happen. Now business cycle graph. We'll go through this, theory, and we'll see. Now, I'm just reading it so that later on also you read, because what is being found that now young generations, even all people losing the reading habit. So reading is good for learning, and we should read. So I will set up an example that I'm reading something so that later on you can also read. Okay. Now all these phases are recurrent. Recurrent means one after another. It will happen frequently after regular intervals. Okay, like recurring accounts, in our family, recurring accounts are there, like for savings. So it will take place after regular intervals. All phases means 4 phases of business cycle are recurrent and uniform in the case of different cycles. If we see, COVID-19 is also one business cycle, and throughout the world it is going on. Now it can be, in different times, different kind of trade and business cycle. But no phase has definite time intervals. Okay. Any phase, whether it is recovery or prosperity or recession or depression, these phases do not have any definite or pre-decided time period, time interval. As pointed out by Pigu. This is mentioned by renowned economist Pigu. Okay. As mentioned by Pigu, cycle may not be twins, but they are of the same family. This business cycle may not be twins, but from the same family. Like families, they have common characteristics that are capable of description. Okay, like in a family, if we say characteristics like a product feature. Okay, same way a person has characteristics like introvert, extrovert, passive, dynamic, intelligent, hard worker, honest, gentle, polite, okay, aggressive, arrogant. These are individual characteristics. So these are like family have common characteristics that are capable of description. Now I have said some characteristics of individual. So in a family member characteristics, these things you can see. So starting at the start or low point, starting at the high point or at the low point, a cycle passes through a recovery and prosperity phase, rises to a peak, declines through a recession and depression phase, and reaches to highest point, or peak point. The figure above explains the respective stage or phase of business or trade cycle. Okay, so now again we will go through the phase. So you can have a look. Okay, this is basically the peak, highest point. Now we'll go through the phase one by one. This is explanation of the 4 phases. We'll just highlight and go through some theories, literature, all these 4 phases. Now, the originating force of the business cycle may be exogenous or endogenous force. Exogenous means external forces. Okay, like any kind of external forces, like macro environmental factors, like political environment, legal environment, technological environment, socio-cultural environment. These may influence the economic activity. Then endogenous factors. These are internal forces. Internal forces like within a economy there may be, or within a organization there may be some forces which may influence to the different phases, like towards the recovery phase. Like here one example is there, like for instance, semi-durable goods were out, which necessitates their replacement in the economy. It leads to an increased demand. See, it leads to increased demand means increase in aggregate demand. Now we'll discuss semi-durable goods. Semi-durable goods, for example, like cleaning products, then plastic products, textile products, clothing products. Okay, then cigarette, fuel, then beer, then cosmetics. These are semi-durable goods examples. So these are finish off. After some time, this goes finish off, then consumer needs to buy, and that may accelerate the aggregate demand. And to meet this increased demand, investment and employment increase. Okay, like I have taken example of the hand sanitizer and PPT kit industry during the COVID-19. So that also accelerated demand. That also has been increasing the demand, and that has generated investment and employment generation also takes place. So to meet the increased demand of the semi-durable goods, investment takes place and employment generation happens. industry begins to revive. Industry begins to revive. Okay, that is recovery, revitalizing. Okay. Once begun, the process of revival becomes cumulative. As a result, the levels of employment, income, and output rise steadily in the economy. The level of employment, new employment takes place. As employment takes place, income increases. Entrepreneurs' profit increases, as production increases, vis-a-vis consumption also increases, and it steadily revitalizes the with economic activity. So this is basically the recovery phase. Then next, prosperity phase. Now the prosperity phase, demand, output, employment, and income are at the high level. Okay, see, from a different angle, I have already said this. Okay, like demand will be, demand for goods and services, product will be at the highest level. Now you can see the demand for hand sanitizer. Okay, then other like PPT kits are, maximum level. Demand at the maximum level. Then production is also there. So due to that, employment has taken place or taking place. Then income is at the highest level. So this is, you can consider as a business cycle. That in general also, demand, output. Output means the production, finished product. Employment, new employment, existing employee will be rewarded for their hard work and dedicated work. Then income will be at the highest level in the stage of prosperity. They trend to raise price. Now this thing increase the price level. But wages, salary, interest rate, rental, any kind of rental, and same tax do not rise in proportionate to the rise in the price. Now, when demand, output, employment is happening in the maximum level, that will accelerate the price. That will increase the price to a certain extent. Okay, but at the same time, the wages, salaries, interest rates, rentals, and some taxes do not rise accordingly. Okay, so this is basically the characteristics of the prosperity phase. Then recession phase. Now the recession phase, what happens? Recession phase starts when there is a downward descent from the peak. See, we have seen the peak, highest point. From the peak where there is a downward movement, downward turning takes place in the economic activities. That is basically for a short duration. It marks the turning period during which the forces that make for contraction finally win over the forces for expansion. Like, see, it marks the turning period during which forces that make for contraction finally win over the forces of expansion. Like contraction is basically, reducing the strength of the economy. Like sale will fall down, new company will not come. Gradually, these things will happen, and these forces will win over the forces of expansion. Expansion means economy activity will increase, economic activity will increase, and new employment will generate it, then new industry, new company will come in the industry. Then due to that, employment generation will take place. Now here in the recession phase, the contraction force will win over the expansion force. Its onward swing are liquidation of the stock market, like people will sell their shares, people will redeem mutual fund, because market will start fall down, and such will start fall down, and due to that, people will people may sell their shares, stocks, okay, and people may redeem mutual funds, change in the banking system, and some liquidation of bank loans. Okay, bank loan may become, even non-performing. Like people may stop giving installments at the beginning of the decline of price. As due to that, price also reduced, resulting declining profit margin, and because cost starts overtaking price. Now, resulting decline in the profit margin of the businessmen or business houses, and because cost will overtake the price. Okay, because in this scenario, companies will face problem in selling their products. As they will face problem, so they need to reduce the price. At that time, what happens? Company introduce promotion, huge promotion, like buy one get two free, like this, because they will face problem in selling their product. So that will reduce the price. Price will decline, and as a result of that, their production cost or overall cost will be overtaken by price. So there will be a gap. And the depression, the last phase. Depression, the last phase of the business cycle. This is basically, very bad phase of the economic activity or economic system. Now, during the depression, and this is basically the last phase. After this, economy again starts recovering. Now, in the recession phase, recession phase merged with the depression. Recession phase basically converts into the depression phase, when there is a overall decline in the economic activity. Overall decline in the economic activity means, I have mentioned earlier, that new companies may not come in a industry. As a result of that, new employment will not take place. Then people will lose their job. Job termination will take place, and the company will lay off employees. Then there will be a cut in the salary. Okay, like these things happen, and production will go down. As consumption goes down, production will also go down. Okay, company will face very bad problem in selling their products. Now, see another example I'll give you here. Like during the COVID-19 period, all automobile companies, they have reduced their target of production, and they have closed down a lot of dealers in different locations. Why they did it? Because there is a decrease in the demand of the personal car. Okay, so in automobile sector it is happening. So if in these things happen in almost in all industries, then economy will have a very bad phase. There is considerable reduction in the production of goods and services. Considerable reduction in the production of goods and services. Okay, employment, income, demand, and prices. The general decline in economic activity leads to a fall in the bank deposit. Yes, when all things will go down, employment will not take place. Goods and service production will come down. Income will not increase, or income will not come. Then demand will reduce. Then prices also reduce. So in that case, bank deposit will fall down. Credit extension stops because the business community is not willing to borrow. Okay, now in that scenario, credit extension of the credit, because extension of credit is the earning of the bank. So that will go down very drastically, as the business community will not be willing to take further loans, because they will face problem in giving installment of their existing loan. Now, one good example we are giving, like due to the COVID-19, in the year 2020, government of India has given, relaxation in the repayment of the different loans, like in the home loans or in the business loans or any other kind of loans. Government have given, relaxation of 6 instruments, like consumer, those who are availing loans, they, for the short-term period, they need to pay the instrument, but later on, overall, loan period will extend, and later on, consumer need to pay the loan instrument with, interest they need to pay. Okay, then bank rate declines significantly. Bank will be bound to reduce the bank rate. It will reduce very significantly. So these are the basically 4 phases of business cycle in detail. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And in the next session, we will meet with another new topic.